agreement.
Yep.
It's a F bar is what it's called.
Bar, yep. F bar.
FATCA, actually.
Do you need a driver's license for a horse and buggy too?
Do you need a bike?
Yes, it depends on if you're doing commerce.
Do you
What
need
about
a
the
scooter
Amish?
or electric-
Do the Amish have
bicycle?
driver's licenses?
They don't have driver's licenses. No, I live in Amish country. They don't have driver's licenses because they use horse and buggies, but they are required to have lights on their vehicles.
Wait a minute, they're on the public road.
Yes, and they have to have lights on their roads. There's an exception made for them, but they do have to follow light code.
Exceptions are for rules, not laws, bro.
No,
I
for
don't know
laws.
what's gonna do.
Larry, we have electric motorcycles, scooters. Those all have certain requirements that they have to be met, but they use public roads registered. Nor do you have to have insurance on them either.
Exhibit B. Thank you. Continue.
Exactly. You're just you're giving him his point.
Those vehicles are excluded because they're specifically excluded.
Included in what?
California and the rest of the country. But if they're not specifically excluded, you can't. So a horse and buggy, electric scooter, electric bicycle, yes, all excluded. But you have a car. Oh, I scratched the VIN numbers off. It's never been registered. It's in salvage. So therefore, I can drive it down the road, and I don't have a license because I'm Amish. Then you can't do anything with me.
You can't drive it if it's not a registered motor vehicle. So don't do that. You can't drive it if it's not a registered motor vehicle.
Okay, so let's say we register it.
Amish don't drive, by the way.
Yeah. Let's say we're driving that vehicle. You don't have a license to drive. So you're saying you can't be arrested, or the car?
No, I never said that. None of this is legal advice. Of course, you can be arrested in this country. Listen. In this country, I've seen people get arrested for holding a sign saying "God bless the homeless vets."
Oh, I know. I
on a sidewalk.
I'm not arguing about that.
So you can get arrested for anything,
I'm not arguing about
even if it's completely protected by the Constitution.
You'll get convicted of it if you do it. So.
Yeah.
No, you file a fucking civil lawsuit and you win it because you have constitutional rights.
Yeah, show me one that's been.
You don't have a constitutionally right to drive.
Show me one person that's won that fight. Go ahead.
You don't have a constitutional right to drive a motor vehicle.
If you really want the case law,
you have a right to travel.
Go find the case law. I want to see it. I don't think it exists.
Okay.
If I'm wrong, I'll be the first to admit it. But I believe you're making this up.
You have a right to travel. You can cross the border on foot anytime you want.
No,
in
a vehicle. You're the one who needs to look into it. I mean, if you don't want to believe
I already have.
You're making the claim. You're making the claim. I want you to back it up.
I don't need to.
I think there are people that have been arrested or cited for driving without a license, for driving under. Well, you said it had to be registered. So let's talk about just non-licensed drivers, and they get convicted.
That's fine because they're licensed drivers. In the case where
not licensed drivers, unlicensed drivers.
No, unlicensed driver is somebody that doesn't have.
They will be convicted.
That's somebody who has like an invalid driver's license.
No,
but if
unlicensed. Never been licensed.
I got news for you.
It doesn't matter. You guys, it doesn't matter. You guys aren't going to do it anyway.
Find the case law and bring it here. It's that simple. Should be easy to find.
If you're unlicensed, you're not driving. By the way.
Yeah,
you said you're driving.
So
if you never had a license.
So if you knew people that had practiced this, then you wouldn't be so in doubt. But
no, you can practice.
You see them on YouTube all the time. The cops don't buy.
When you're pulled over,
I got 2 videos where the cops didn't cite them and let them go with showing nothing but a VIN number. No license.
Some cops do not understand.
No license.
Some do.
Some cops just don't think it's worth the trouble. It's like pilots are trying to point. Getting asked where the meter is that shows the curve of the Earth. They just blow them off.
Just a quick question. What's everybody's understanding of the right to travel under the Constitution? What does that mean?
Anywhere you want.
Just walk? Right to travel means walk? Is it under the Constitution?
Any means you're qualified to
bicycle, ride a horse.
Yep.
Any means you're qualified.
But not a car.
Not a car.
Oh, you just have to be licensed.
Or not on the road, apparently.
Airplane.
You cannot be licensed.
Airplane, car, motorcycle. You can travel in those vehicles, but you need licenses to do that. If you don't,
on the road.
If it's a right, if it's a right, hold on. Let me follow up.
Otherwise,
not a right.
Follow up. If it's a right, how do you need a license for a right?
It's not a right.
How does that work? Oh, so
You
there
can't
is no
convert a
right to
right
travel.
into a crime.
You have no
Does
right
it,
to drive a car on a public
it
street.
doesn't mean you're operating the vehicle. It means you
Driver.
could have been a
Driver.
passenger.
That's
You could
not
be
an
in a taxi
argument.
cab.
Vehicle.
You could be a passenger
You
on a
guys even
jet.
listen
You
to
can
terms that
move
you
around the
throw out.
country all you want.
That's the
It
whole
doesn't
point
mean
of
you can operate a
defining.
vehicle.
I'm pretty sure you keep saying on a public road, so I'm pretty sure like if you're driving a vehicle off the side of the road on the grass, that you'll get more tickets than if you're driving on the road.
Depends
No,
on
you
that.
can drive on your own farm, for example. You don't have to have a
Yep.
license or registration on your farm, but you can't drive off the farm.
Oh, sure, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's true. It is true, but I don't know how it lines up legally. But yeah, that's true.
It's your
Private property.
private property. You're not on a public road.
You have private property rights. You can operate a vehicle. You can teach your kids how to drive when they're 9 years old if you want. That's the advantage of owning property.
Yep.
A lot of really young kids know how to drive tractors and plow.
Yeah, but like maybe you guys should
we
amend
have-
your
we
statement
have
on a
12
public road,
driving
right?
tractors.
I keep
racing
on hearing the
cars. We have
same
13,
repeated
14-year-olds that are
statement. Like I was hearing the
racing
same
cars at the
repeated
track.
statement like about driving on a public road. So maybe you should amend that statement and just be from on a public road to anywhere at all, right?
No, because you can race
No,
at the track.
public road is what the vehicle laws apply to. Anybody that's on a public road for any reason, whether they believe they need a license or not, has to have a license to drive on a public road.
Okay, but what about when I'm not on?
Follow the
So
vehicle
now I'm not
Yeah.
on the public road. Now
If you're
I'm riding my motorcycle on the grass next to the public road.
public right of way, you mean?
Public what?
Or-
Just a
or-
public
The public
whatever.
right of way on the side of the road?
No, just the grass, like on the grass.
Which could be
That's
somebody
part of the
else's
road.
private property too, which would be cause even more problems.
Perhaps, but it doesn't apply to the statement and the constant assertion of on a public road.
Yes,
You're
it
on the
does.
That's
public
all.
right of way of a public road. I don't think that's not gonna fly.
Well, then don't say public road because apparently it applies to everything that's not your independent private property.
No, it has to do with anything that belongs to the public road, including the right of way.
The right of way specifically meaning what?
30 feet to
bike
either
lane?
side of the road.
Okay, 30 feet to either side of the road. Okay, what if we're 35 feet now? Now we can drive wherever we want, make our own roads.
Well,
Just
you're on somebody's property.
Are
Do
we?
you have the property owner's permission?
I mean, I've seen desert roads, right? You've seen desert roads, right? Where there's like a desert on either side.
Yeah, so what?
Okay, now I'm 35 feet off. I can just drive that whole state of Arizona, no problem. Don't touch me.
I don't know why you wouldn't be able to, unless it's an unimproved road of some sort. As long as the county maintains it or something or other, I think it's public road.
That's what I'm saying. So you're saying earth in general, all ground is public road.
I never said that at all.
Okay, so
Well, for
so
you.
35, 40 feet off to the road is what now? Is legal or
The
illegal?
right away. Well,
It's off.
he
It's
was
off. As
defining.
long as you're off the right of way, I don't know what the laws would be for that.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
could
if
be on
it's
somebody's
off-
private property, or
If it's
you could
not
be
on private
public
property.
land. You know, if you're on public land, they may have rules for that.
Oh,
They
they may?
may not have. They can restrict motorized vehicles on public land too. Can't do certain things on my lake out here. Can't water ski.
National mileage may vary. Yeah, it all depends where you're at and what you're doing and what applies there. Their laws are different in every state. They're potentially different in every county.
All right, I just posted a video of a guy who gets pulled over, doesn't show anything but his VIN number, and doesn't get a ticket, and the cops leave. Whole video,
What?
uncut.
Doesn't make it different.
I got to find it because this is not the whole uncut video, but I've seen the whole uncut video. Well, wait a minute.
Doesn't matter.
Someone just said that you're going to get a ticket if you do that. I think it was you.
No, we said you could get a ticket if you do that. That doesn't matter. You know, great. You found a video. So what?
Well, there's two of them. I got
So
another
what?
one
You
to show
found
you
two
too.
of them. So what?
Right. So apparently, some cops are letting people go when they try this weird stuff.
That's up to the cop.
Right. So
Yeah,
the cop has discretion.
letting them go is by you saying letting them go, you're already implying that they did something wrong.
And you're also implying it's the cop making that decision. And the cops decision. They don't have to ticket you. They can give you a warning. They could do anything they want.
Yeah, that's what the true definition of a sovereign citizen. Someone who thinks that they can do anything they want, the law doesn't apply to them.
like Bob's a sovereign citizen.
Nah, I wasn't dropped on my head when I was a kid.
Well, can cops
Only-
do whatever they want? Can they bring guns into places where it says no guns?
Yes,
Okay, the laws don't apply to them then. They're sovereign citizens by
they
definition.
are excused from the laws. It's specifically written in the law.
Oh, so the laws don't apply to them.
No, there's a specific provision for officers on duty or off duty.
Right, just like when the cop mowed down that guy, I think it was Albuquerque, New Mexico.
I
The
don't
guy
really
has,
care about you
yeah,
talking
the
about
guy has,
police abuse.
sorry, guy.
I don't
He
care.
killed
I
a
don't
man
care.
who was
There
on
are
the
bad
ground,
people
face
out
down.
there.
I'll mute you
So
if I have
what?
to. So he was on the ground, surrendered face down, and the cop shot him with a rifle and killed him. The cop quit, got rehired, and because he was, suffering from so much PTSD from killing the unarmed man, that he got full benefits and retired. After
Well,
he got
then
rehired.
you talk to your elected officials about that. Don't talk to us.
I don't
That
live in
doesn't have
Mexico.
anything to do with anything.
We're just showing you the laws don't apply to them. They're exempt from stickers. Everyone else has to get a road, right? But I don't hear you guys arguing that there's police cars out there on the road that don't have stickers. It just says exempt.
Well, then
So
they're exempt, right?
Well, then the law doesn't apply to them. They're sovereign citizens.
No, that's not the way that works. Why are they
so
exempt?
Are they a public service?
Why are they exempt?
Because they're sovereign citizens.
No, they're
Bob
not.
Bob loves sovereign citizens.
No, they're
You'll blow
exempt
what?
because the law says they're exempt. Specifically,
Okay.
they wouldn't be
Okay,
exempt.
so they can just drive around, no problem, right? Breaking all the laws and putting on their lights when there's no emergency and nothing happens to them ever, right? They break the
That's the
traffic
problem
codes.
you run into with folks like this. They try and deal with absolutes. Oh, they'll never be accountable for it. Actually, they are held accountable on occasion. So
Okay, on occasion.
I'm not going
That's
I'm
not
not
the
going to
norm.
accept your
Let's use Bob's
absolute.
argument of when you provide information of somebody just showing their VIN and getting off of a ticket. So what? So what? That's your
Officer
argument,
discretion.
right? When an officer might get in trouble every blue moon for doing something, so what?
Yeah, what about it?
Is that the exception or is that the rule?
I don't know.
It's the law.
What laws apply
People
to
break
law
laws. If
enforcement
people
officers?
break laws, they're subject to prosecution unless for some reason they're not prosecuted. And prosecutors don't always prosecute everybody.
Break a law like what? Speeding?
Yeah, that's a law, yeah.
How many cops get pulled over for speeding?
How many
Even
cops
if they're
are
chasing
subjected?
somebody.
How many cops are subjected to speed limits in the course of their duty?
Oh, it just doesn't apply to them, right?
Correct. You're getting it.
So they're sovereign citizens. The laws don't apply
No,
to
that's
them.
incorrect. That's incorrect. It does apply. If they don't have their emergency lights on, they're not allowed to just run wild with it. Incorrect, Bob. Please stop making shit up for the audience.
Oh,
They can't
Jeremy,
drive recklessly.
Jeremy, they 100% can. When I was 19 years, I was pulling out of a gas station and a cop came flying up over a hill, almost T-boned me, like swerved around me, almost spun in a 180, got control, came back around, flipped on his lights, and pulled me over and gave me a ticket because speeding without his emergency lights on and almost killed my cousin and I. But I got a ticket for endangering a law
I've
enforcement
also gotten
officer.
a ticket for some shit like that back in the day. Yes, it doesn't mean it was legal.
The way
It
it's
is
supposed
legal.
to
Write
That's
the
the
work.
thing.
ticket.
Case in
It
point.
may not be lawful, but it's legal because the legal code doesn't apply to the cops, or at least that's the way it seems, that they can just drive through our
It
cities,
was
do
his
whatever they
discretion.
want,
Guys
right?
should
It's
just
officer
nail the cops
discretion
away.
not to arrest themselves, right? Unless there's a video, like recently there was a cop who attacked a homeless guy and his wife and his child were there. And this is really interesting because they accidentally dropped a bag of candy and the cop perceived it as littering. And he said, "I'm a cop, get out of here." And he turned on his phone because he was an auditor. And the guy said, "If you're a cop, show me your badge." Then the cop leaves his property, comes onto the public road, and puts his knee in this guy's throat. Well, guess what? The grand jury is going to see if he's going to be indicted probably around the middle of January. So
We'll see.
Have you ever heard on the news, like if just your average citizen runs into the ditch, right? Then they say the average citizen lost control of their car or their vehicle and they ran into the ditch. Now, if an officer is driving 100 miles an hour to go get a cup of coffee and he runs off in the road and he a light pole, you know what they say? His car ran off the road. Isn't that funny? Didn't he run off the road, or did the
Is there
car
a
do
point
it?
to it?
Depends
Yeah,
on
is
who's
it
filling
the
out the
car's
accident report.
fault? Is it the car's fault, or is it the officer's fault? I mean, give me a break, man.
Okay, so
Stupid
do you have a
car.
specific incident where this happened that we can look at?
In my area, I mean, I'm sure I can look them up. There's been about 5 or 6 in probably the past year.
So, so
Just
your
losing
claim is
control,
he
right?
was doing
So you
100 miles an
want me to
hour to
finish?
get a cup of coffee, and his car developed a mind of its own and ran off the road, and blameless.
I got another one where cops is going
No,
to
was that your claim?
Yeah, that was my. And I
Okay.
got another claim also. You want to hear the other one? So here's another
Do you
one.
think? Do
I
you
have a
think
I
Yeah,
the
have
let me
another
hear
sheriff's
it.
claim.
department
I'll
might
hear
have
the
said
next
something
one.
about
Maybe it might be
reckless
interesting.
driving,
What's the
perhaps?
next?
Hey, whatever, dude. You're not gonna let me speak.
Well, no. You
You mean
started with
no? You're
one.
not gonna
I
let me
went to
speak. So
respond
no,
to
I'm
it,
not
and then
gonna
you
let you
tried to
speak
start
either. I'm
another
just
one.
gonna talk over you. We're gonna sound like a bunch of idiots here, right? So we're just gonna
Yeah,
speak
you
over
probably
each
are.
other. Okay.
You
No,
asked
Yeah,
we're
me
I
a
get
not.
that.
No, we're
question,
not. We're
and
all
then
going to
I
talk
started
one
to
at a
answer
time.
other
What we're
questions.
going to do is,
All
guys,
right.
what we're going to do is we're all
Okay,
going to
man.
talk one at a time. Hello. We're all just going to do one at a time, please, guys.
all right, I
Yeah.
just found
So
something. U.S. Supreme Court says no license necessary to drive automobile on public roads. I'll go ahead and post that.
Yeah.
What year was that decision, Larry?
I'm posting it so you can see for yourself. Let's see.
1873. Who cares?
Thompson versus Smith. Barbarian versus Lesser. Kanisha Mills versus DC. So there's a few of them for you to go over if you like.
I see this
And you
one.
know what it's called when a Supreme Court something, right? What do you call? We call it case law, but it's technically positive law.
I know these people in their black robes, so it's got to be recent enough.
Thompson versus Smith case looks like it was from 1930. I'm
Did
willing to
you
bet the laws changed.
did you actually post a case law or a video?
This is not a video. This is text. Just go to it and look at it. So they could be. They don't have to be 35 feet off anything. Then, according to the Supreme Court, that's cool.
Is it in live stream?
It's from
Nope.
1930, guys. I'm willing to bet that this is no longer good law.
Yeah, 1930. Who cares?
1972. Let's see.
Show the one from 1972. Go ahead and post the link to the case.
So what?
It's
Precedents
let's see.
expire? I didn't know that.
No, but
1969.
more things happen. Roe v. Wade has been overturned. Laws change, precedent changes.
That's not what happened there with the overturning of Roe v. Wade.
Yeah, I posted it. It's wearechange.org. It's right there, and I'm in the right spot. I'm in the right spot.
Like, new information is not going to reveal that cars are actually alive before they're built. Like,
No, but
1971,
laws can
1978.
change.
I mean, 1978 was 45 years ago. So Shapiro versus Thompson. I'll go ahead and post it so you can look it up. And of
thanks,
course,
Larry. That's a good one.
none of this is legal advice, obviously, Do your own research. Hire a lawyer and ask him if tyranny is right for you.
Hey, man, I know of a case in near my area that this guy was in cuffs. I can't remember what he did, but this other officer was responding when he didn't need to, and this was made clear on the news. So he like 100 miles an hour, and of course he ran off the road, not his car, and he died, right? So they're trying to charge the person in handcuffs. How ridiculous is that, man? You get yourself killed, and this other guy that's in cuffs.
Pretty ridiculous. Was he convicted of it?
I'm not sure, but it was, yeah, man. It was talked about for a while.
Charge people all the time over silliness. It comes down to a matter of are they convicted or not.
Look, man, I have one cross a double yellow line like this rookie, right? He's in his personal vehicle, crosses a double yellow line, hits me head on coming out of a parking lot. And he's approaching a traffic light, not even 20 yards from it. So, yeah, I've had some run-ins with these kind of guys who will draw up a police report opposite of the way it happened. You know what I mean?
Did you sue?
Oh no, man, I was really young. This is way back in the day.
Okay, well, the ultimate person that decides this is the guy that holds the keys to your handcuff in the black roll.
I tell you, when over 20 years ago, it's probably been about 25 or so. I'm one of the people that said all of your car manufacturers need to have cameras on all corners of your vehicle. I was one of the guys who said that before they even started doing these things. Before the guys started putting their cell phones in the windshield and putting cameras up in their cars, I said we need this. And so, yeah,
you can do that, and there's no law that says you can't.
Yeah, it's been very beneficial, hasn't it? Because the cameras don't lie, So.
I was one of the people telling cops that they need body cams.
It's excellent. I'm a big proponent of mandatory body cams for police that cannot be turned off by the police officer.
Yeah, I say if you don't have it on film.
What are you trying to do? Put the cops out of business? Come on, you're trying to end the racketeering scheme? Whoops.
Yeah,
fighting words.
If you don't have it on film, he shouldn't be able to, arrest you or anything. And I love the guys who get pulled over. One of those videos, Larry, the guy was pulled over and he said, "Am I under arrest?" And the guy said, "Well, it's a traffic arrest. I need your license." He said, "Well, go ahead and read me my rights then. If I'm under arrest, go ahead and read me my rights." Those videos are very nice, man. I like a couple of those.
It's a great way to get the maximum penalty. I mean, if that's what you want to do, or if you want to get in an argument, people seem to like to get into arguments. And if you want to do it and are willing to pay the price of it, go right ahead.
Well, when you're standing up for your rights, it's going to be an argument, right? If someone's trying to deny you of your rights or to try to infringe on your rights, I mean, you're going to argue, right? You're not going to be.
I taught my kids not to, and I don't, because that's what I have lawyers for.
Well, that's true.
If they want to play that shit.
Remain silent. Yeah, you have the right to remain silent. This is why I said, read me my rights. So when he does read you your rights, you can say, well, I have the right to remain silent. And I would like to.
Don't argue with a cop on the side of the road. It's a good way to get shot. That's what we have courts for.
Which is why you have the right to remain.
I would agree with that.
Why are y'all talking about cops?
Yeah, the two things I could agree with the dumb guy Bob just said was you just stay silent, you get a lawyer, and you sue. That's how you get your rights heard. You sue. That's how the individual makes a difference. That's it.
If you stay silent, and they don't think you have a camera in your hand, you could be beaten to death, man. Okay, I mean beaten literally to death. Even if you're in custody and you're in the jail cell, you can be beaten to death with your head crushed in. Okay.
Yeah,
that's what literally happens. That's what happens here. That's what can happen to you. So you need
That's absolutely true. That's why you try and de-escalate the situation rather than argue with them.
You have a camera. You need to let them know so they know they're being watched. And that's not an argument. That's just letting them know and protecting yourself, right? And when you do that and they understand what they're doing, they have to read you and they read you your rights, then you can tell them, I have the right to remain silent. I'd like a lawyer
That's
present.
fine, and just know that you're going to go to jail. That's okay. You go not jail, but you're going to get arrested. You're going to get
Going to
detained. You're
jail
going
is
to get
better
taken
than
in, and just
dying,
take it.
bro. Going to
Yeah.
jail is
Well,
better
you know,
than
it's a great
dying.
way to get the cop to
Yeah.
throw the book at you. That's not a problem. If that's what you want, play
Cops
stupid
can't
games,
throw
play
the book
stupid
at you,
private.
bro.
Sure they can. They do it all the time. They have a choice. You know, they have officer discretion on a lot of things. If you cop an attitude with them and tell them you're filming them and this, that, and the other thing, that's fine. I'm just not going to cut you any breaks. Not a problem.
So if a citizen is filming you and you're an officer, you're not going to cut them any breaks. Automatically, all your discretion goes out the window. You're going full force, right? Why
Now
is
you got
that?
to
Well, I
follow.
don't want to
Now
have to
you
Why
got
is
to
that?
justify
follow all the rules.
why I decided at my discretion to let this guy go. You know, it's much easier to just arrest and sort it out later. I don't have a problem with that.
It's easier to arrest someone than to let them go with a warning.
It's easier to arrest them, to let them go, than to let them go and face possible charges later, because it was all on film and he acted improperly because he didn't do this, and you know he wasn't protecting the public safety. Look, just arrest him, let him sort it out later.
Yeah, you think being arrested is the end of the world. You get arrested, you go, they write you up, you get out, and you go take it to court. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Not a problem.
Yeah, it's better than being beaten to death, isn't it?
Well, is your chance of
Now you're
getting
being
beaten to
dramatic.
death? Is your chance of getting beaten to death more or less if you're just cooperative and quiet?
You're painting a picture of these police just pulling you over just with the whole purpose of beating you to death. Like, wait until they're done work, just follow you home and then stalk you. I mean, what's this picture you're painting that they're beating you
Well,
to
I
death?
didn't say. Yeah, I'm not saying everyone does that who's in the force, because there's plenty who are not like. But
I
there are
think that if you have an
several. There are
unstable
several.
cop, you're going to trigger him.
Just like we have teachers who are pedophiles, just like we have priests who are pedophiles. We have officers who take advantage of their authority, right? We have officers who are rapists, right, and who have been caught being rapists. We have
100%.
officers who have broke 70-year-old women's arms for no reason at all. We have officers who have choked people to death. There's officers right here in my town that have took a 70-year-old man, brought him up in the air and slammed his skull down on the concrete and crushed
Was he
his skull.
cooperating?
Was he
Was he
cooperating?
cooperating or was he
He was
arguing with him?
in the cell, bro. A 70-year-old man doing nothing.
So he was sitting on his bed and they just
And
walked in his cell and
there's
body
one
slammed
kid
him to
who's
the floor.
standing on the other side of his apartment door with a PlayStation controller in his hand. He gets shot in the chest and head. How do you like that? You like that?
Don't hold
Yep.
things in your hand
How
when the
much
cops are
more you
coming
want
at
me
you.
to tell you, man? How much more you want me to tell you?
Don't hold things
So,
in your
so
hand when
all
the
these
cops are.
people, all these things that happened to these people, that was justified. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm not saying it's justified. I'm saying it could have been prevented. Had a little
It's
smarter.
non-existent. Well, you're acting like it's non-existent. You're asking for evidence. I'm giving you evidence,
No,
and I
you're
can
giving
Yeah,
pull
me
but
up the
stories
actual,
I
and
just want to.
I can pull up the
secondhand
actual
stuff.
cases if you need time for me to get them for you. I could pull them up and show them to you
I
if you
think there's
don't
like a
believe it.
disconnect, Louis. I
So
think that you're
I'm
saying that you
presenting
should
the
make
evidence to you.
change
It just
with
seems
the
like you're
police
being
on the spot,
argumentative
and
when
that's
you're
another
asking a question
spot
and
to
I'm
do it
providing you
on
with
the
the
spot with the
information.
One at
police
a
is
time,
definitely
guys.
Seems
not
kind of
it.
weird, man.
Yeah.
Seems kind of weird.
Hey, you're getting
You know,
riled up north though. You're getting really
I'm not
riled up.
really
Like
riled
you're,
up, man. I'm
yeah,
just
I
you're
saw a
providing
super
cop
you
riled
choke
with
a
up.
little old lady
information, and I'm
across the
trying to
street the other
speak
day too.
clearly
So
so
what?
you can hear me, right? I'm just trying to speak clearly so you can hear me. You're asking me for evidence. I'm providing you with the information and the different cases I've seen and heard of, and have seen personally. So I'm just trying to share those things that I could actually go and get and present to you as a case, right? Just
I've
trying to
known
give
Not
it
a
to
asshole
you. And
cops
that's
too, and
all.
I've
It
known
seems like
cops that help
you're
little
not
old ladies across the street and pull
listening.
people in cars. So what? All right, they're good
It's
and
not
bad
yeah.
in every
No, it's
profession.
not so what. That's a great thing, man. That's a great thing. It's not so what. If someone pulls that's to be commended, right? If someone pulls someone out of a burning car and puts their life in danger, that's to be commended. Give that man a medal, right? Let's all take him to dinner. But if
Yeah,
I'm
that's
going
what
to
doing
give you an
metal.
instance where some man bragged about breaking some 70-year-old's arm and she's a woman for no reason at all, you know,
Yeah, you
just
keep
because he
painting
has
this
an
picture that
authority
there's no
complex.
reason at all, right? So you're painting this strange picture, and you're picture where these things are happening for no reason at all. Like some guy was innocently playing
Old woman
a
had
video game or
dementia.
something, and that was it. And it's not the full picture. You're
No, no,
not
no.
making a case. You're just saying words, right? And I understand. I'm not asking you for the full story of every instance, but you're just giving these highlights to paint this strange picture. And also keep in mind that you're not going to make, in reality, you're not going to make change with police officers on site, one-on-one, you versus a police officer. That's not where change is made. Change is made in the courtrooms through lawsuits and through other means, not in a conversation with a police officer.
Absolutely.
You're not arguing against anything I said because I didn't, I'm not claiming that anyway, but I'm just giving you different instances and I am highlighting them. Now, if you wanted me to give you some detail, I could give you the full detail. You know, that the old woman who got her arm dislocated and broke by the guy who bragged about it while he's sitting beside his officer friend, right? As they're down at the booking. So this old woman had dementia.
Again, you're
She
painting a
walked up-
picture, right? Like, so
no,
what
no, I'm
difference
not
does
painting
it?
a
I
picture.
just
I'm
want to
trying
stop
to
you real
give
quick
you.
because you're already a picture. What
Well, if
difference
I'm
does it make if he bragged about it or if he showed
speaking,
remorse for it while
if
talking to his
I'm
friends?
speaking, I'm not going to put up with this anymore. If someone's going to
Then
interrupt,
don't. Then
I'm going
don't
to
put
keep
up with it
talking.
because
So
you're not
Jeremy,
stop.
either
You're not
you step
stopping to
up
have a
and moderate,
conversation. You're continuing,
or
even though
I
you're
just leave,
not
bro. This
responding
is
to you.
all
You're just
this is.
continuing.
So I'm just going to keep talking,
And
man. It's
I
ridiculous.
see
I'm
that.
just going
So
to keep
you
talking.
have
I'm just going
identified
to keep
yourself as
talking.
the problem. That's
So
good.
the woman had dementia, right? And she's walked to the store and she had a bag in her hand she didn't pay for. So she walked back in the store and she paid for the items because people told her she didn't pay for them. Now this old woman has clearly paid for her items. She's walking home on the side of the road. An officer pulls up with a lady officer in the car. They both get out. The man says, "Ma'am, turn around. Where are you going?" She doesn't understand him. She doesn't know where she is really. He
Do you
grabs
know
her by
that,
the
man? You're just
arm. He
making up a
breaks
story.
the
How do you
arm
know
and
that she
he
doesn't
hears
know
the
where she
pop.
is?
So after he hears the
It's
arm
not worth
pop,
listening to you, man. You're
then
not
he
making good
goes
points at all.
then
It's
he
really
goes
not worth
back and
listening.
he's on camera in his own office laughing about the incident and laughing about breaking the old woman's arm. Do you understand now? Is that a well enough picture for you? Is that
Well, it's a
right or
nice
wrong?
story. What did they do to
Is
him?
it right or wrong?
That's a nice
I'm going to
story. But
start
what did they
speaking
do
with
to him?
some authority because no one's speaking up. Is it right or is it
Did they
wrong?
do anything to him?
The brag of breaking an old
Wrong.
woman's arm for no reason whatsoever. Is it right or wrong, depraved mind? Right or wrong? One answer, one word, right or wrong what the officer did. Does that person deserve a public caning or a public whooping? Do they deserve a commendation?
All right, let him answer.
You're making up stories, man. And it's obvious.
Making up stories? Bro, it was on the news.
You're
How
telling stories
So
that
depraved
there
nobody
were
else
are
told
you?
you.
consequences. I
How
got it.
depraved are you? It's on video, homie. How depraved are you, man?
I don't
So
know.
it
Make
was
up a
he
story
was
Also,
held
about
Are,
take
are
him
accountable
off
you
for
this
it
are
then.
you
channel.
a predator, bro? Are you a predator?
Look,
What
I
kind
don't
of
know.
predator
Ask the
are
news.
you?
Ask the news. See what they say about it.
No, I watched the video,
Watch
bro.
the video
I
story
watched
on the
the
news
woman
about my
get her arm
my
broken, and I
depravity. See what
watched
it
the
says.
guy brag about breaking her arm. She's 7 years old. He's like 39, bro.
So they couldn't get
I
all
would
the
put a
evidence, but they got the
fucking ball
evidence
in
of a
his
bragging.
body if I could get
Yeah.
to him. No. You don't say the guy did anything wrong. You won't even look at the evidence. Because
You don't
clearly
have
he
an evidence.
thinks
You have a
in your
story
eyes,
about
right?
that you saw on the news that somebody painted, and now
No,
you're
you're
repainting it
acting
with your
like
own narrative.
you're a punk, man. You act like a punk, bro. You're a punk, man.
All right. Well, arrest me. Sue me.
No, I'm not going to arrest you.
Mm.
Just hope I don't run into you, man.
All
Just
right.
pray
Well,
to God.
you have a
I got the
license to run into
mainstream.
I'm
me?
Hey,
tired
I
of
don't
guys,
know.
people like
guys,
you,
shut
man.
up.
I'm tired
Shut
of
up.
people like you. Just pray to God I don't run into you.
Is that what I should do?
Shut up, guys. I just posted the video on mainstream media for, all the those who don't like to lick the boot, those who like to deep throat the boot. That mainstream media is there for you. So there's for all you boot deep throaters. There's lots of stuff on this. The big auditing channels have just about all done a video on this one because it's so obvious that anyone could see it. But my beef is that these people are getting prosecuted and sentenced
Xana,
to
tell me
jail.
about like Coriolis.
Come on, bro. I think these people are going to jail and getting charged with crimes.
What do you
So
want to
I don't
know?
have
You tell me. Ask.
I don't have a beef with this one so much because justice looks like it's being served now. It's up to you to decide on your own if justice was served. But check it out for yourself. It's the problem I have is when people do this kind of thing where it's obviously wrong and nothing happens. That's the the part that we should all be seeking justice, right? Isn't that what they say? Like for everybody?
Is justice to be confused with revenge, or is it justice? A different word.
It's more like everything on equal. Nobody's gotten over anybody else. We're all on equal footing, level ground. That's what justice is. Everything's equal, right? The balance is settled, right?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, what makes it equal though? Like, seems like just from what like the other guy was saying, it seems like feelings like really get involved to make it like
Well, it's
justice.
not
Like,
feelings, man. It's not feelings. It's either right or wrong, and I stand for what's right. And if you're gonna beat on an old woman, of course I'm gonna get a little. That's gonna touch me in my soul. It's gonna touch me in my spirit, and I'll take your head off, bro. You understand? If you're not a man that's gonna protect old women and young children and people from just basic wrong things, just unrighteousness, if you're not gonna protect them, I have nothing for you, man. Pray to God I never run it.
very, very
Pray to
interesting. So I
God.
wasn't even talking. Again, you got into your feelings. I wasn't even talking about your feelings,
Yeah, I'm
even though
all
they're
in my
very,
feelings
very.
now, man.
You're
You
very
know
in your
how I
feelings.
feel.
Yeah,
I'm all in them. I'm all up in my feelings. That's
very
right.
obvious. Yeah,
I'm gonna express
I
them
was
too.
more.
Express them too.
Well, I mean, write it down on a piece of paper. I don't know, right? But I was more pointing towards your take on the feelings that were shown by the people in the situation, not
I
your
like
feelings.
how I like how you guys love the cameras, right? The body cams. But then when the body cams show you breaking some old woman's arm and bragging about it, then you don't want to talk about it anymore, right? It's kind of hilarious, man.
Yeah, yeah.
There
So I
is going
mean,
to be justice. There is justice. In the end, there will be justice, and you will be wrong. There's either right or wrong, and you're dead wrong.
wrong about what am I wrong about? It's like talking about. You're just all caught up.
You're arguing with righteousness, bro. You're arguing with right.
You're
There's
being very
right and
broad.
wrong, right?
What specifically am I being wrong about?
You're trying to be argumentative with someone who's protecting righteous things. Someone who
You
is trying
protected this
to stand
lady?
up for right things, right? Protecting old women from predators like this guy. We're given an example, right? A man, a woman, and what happened to this woman. This guy is clearly a predator abusing his authority. Now I'm standing up for what's right and I'm saying what he did was wrong. You want to argue with me and tell me I'm in my feelings, right? So yeah,
You're
that
just
gets
showing
I don't
you're in
think
your feelings.
anyone's
That's all.
that gets
defending
me
the
so
actions of this
aggravated.
officer.
Just like everyone gets aggravated, I get aggravated every once in a while, and it comes from foolishness like this. Foolishness like this, who will not stand up and protect women and protect the things, the young children, and everything that's going on in this world. You'd rather sit here and argue with me and waste time.
I
You
just
know,
want you to be
like
honest and
like
what
Zanuck
I
and
just
all
want you to
these
be
other
honest for a
guys.
moment, and you
You
won't be.
pay to
It's
come
simple.
in here and just waste people's time. You're
Are
not
you
standing up for
projecting?
truth. You're
Are
not
you
standing up for
projecting?
anything that's right. You just
Just
want to
be honest,
waste
man.
people's
Just be
time.
honest, buddy.
Yeah, I'm just
I
going to
mean, just
keep
be honest,
talking
bud.
for you, man, because you're trying to talk over me. I'm going to do it to you
No, I'm
every
trying to have it.
single time you
You're
come in
just
this
talking.
room.
No,
Every
guys,
time you come
please.
in
You're
this room,
confused.
I'm going to question you. Every
Dude, I don't
time.
give a dude. I don't
What's your
fucking
name?
care what you do. You're not
Well, I'm
any
glad you don't
authority
care what I do because as
whatsoever.
long as you're
Guys,
speaking, I'm going
hold
to be
on.
speaking.
Hold
You
on, North.
understand?
North, hold on. Let's just go one at a time, please, because we can't hear anything.
I'm
Yeah,
just
North
not
is
doing the
con-
foolishness
North
anymore.
is
Dude. They're
confusing.
going
Like
to
when
attack
somebody
me. If
talks
they're
to
going to
him,
attack me with
he's
personal
there. He
attacks,
goes again.
I'm going to
There he
keep
goes
talking over
again.
you.
What I say? Let's
What
go.
to
You've
do?
been talking nonstop. Let no tanks go, and then you can respond, please. We got to go one
I'm
at a
not
time.
responding to him. He can say whatever he wants to say. I'm not
All
responding
right.
to him anymore.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Not
sure
talking to
North
guys
Okay.
is
like
like
this.
is a homosexual. Pretty sure.
Well, that's
What are,
not
what are you
okay. No
guys
thanks.
disagreeing about?
Dude, he doesn't even know. He doesn't know.
But
He's
still,
making
it's
all
I
not.
sorts
saw
of
that
claims
video.
that I'm disagreeing with him on. Yeah, all I said was he was painting a story, a picture that some old lady just got like snuck up on by a police officer and he broke her arm, and then he went to a bar and laughed on camera in front of everybody saying, "I
Not
broke
even
her
what I
arm," ha
said.
ha ha.
Not
Right? And
even
when I
what I
said,
said,
"Hey, what
and you
did
didn't even watch the video, did you? Not even what I said, and you
No,
didn't
I
even
didn't
watch the
watch the
video, did
video.
you?
No,
You're
not
a
at all.
moron.
No,
You're a moron. You're a moron.
I know
Guys,
I
I'm
know what
please.
I'm
right.
talking about. I know what I'm defending here. What I'm defending is things that are right and speaking about them, and you just trying to waste time and be argumentative with me,
No,
trying to get in your
you could
I
have
don't know what
really.
you're trying. I don't know what your purpose is or what your plan is. It seems like a waste time, right?
Yeah, so you really are
And you
wasting a
call
lot
me
of
a
time. You're
would
right.
you call me a
You're really
homosexual,
big on this.
bro? I
Guys,
really wish I could see you
both
face to
guys just
face, man. What
for
city
like
you
5
live in,
minutes.
bro?
I just got to
Yeah,
I'll
I
meet
just
mute both
you
wanted
you
to
anywhere
guys for
you
like
want to
5
meet,
minutes.
man.
come find me. Yeah.
You guys are
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
You're over talking nonstop. Just relax.
Yeah, I just wanted to put it to the test when he said I will no longer address him. I said homo. And to see how strong he is if he
See,
really
that's
won't
all he's
respond. And he
doing,
did.
guys. All he's doing is
Yeah.
coming in. So every time he does it, I'm gonna speak over him, Jeremy. If you want to kick me from the room
Oh,
and kick me
You
from the
don't
server,
should.
that's cool, bro. But
You
I'm
don't
gonna do
should
it
speak
kick
every
me
over
from
him.
time
the
he comes in because he's just antagonizing, just trying to waste time. That's all he's doing. We're trying to stand up for truth. We're trying to speak truth in this server.
Wait. Now I got
And
to
we got
stand up for
about
that bullshit.
15 different
I
people that
stand
come
for
in all
truth.
the
I'm
time,
going to
just
call
like
you
this
out
other
and
guy
talk over
trying to
you.
talk over
What
me
do you
right
call
now.
me? What do
Danik.
you
Just
talk over me?
like
I don't
this
waste
guy.
No,
time.
I
Just
stand
like
for
this
truth.
guy
I
right
am
here.
I
here to
All
pursue
he
truth
does is
I am
waste
and
here
time.
for
You
truth
expose
now.
think I'm yelling, but I'm just
moronicness
speaking
as you
very
are now
clearly,
I
right?
am also
starting to
here
do.
for
I
truth.
This is
raising
retarded.
my
My
voice
server
even
mute is
more
not
so
working right now,
that I'm
guys.
just going I'm just going to speak real clean and clearly.
Stop, North. My mute
This
button
guy.
is not working. There we go.
Good job.
Zanuck, you
Thank you.
thought that was a good time, really, Zanuck?
He accused me of wasting time. You had a righteous
Let's
position
all go
until he
one
got
at
to
a
that
time,
point.
please, though, please.
I
He
just
had a
went ahead
deal.
and followed up on that Karen
He
Gardner
insulted
arrest.
me, and he
Two
had
of the
nothing to back it up
officers were
except
arrested
with his
and
mouth.
served jail time.
That's what I said.
See, North left. Come on, guys.
Oh, listen, all North had
Please.
to do was make it clear instead of trying to paint a picture. Just be honest. Hey, what was the? My only question to him was that I kept. What was the real situation? Like, why was she approached at all? And then he just couldn't get to it. It's okay.
I can tell you, I've seen
And
it
he also
several times.
neglected to
She
mention
was
that
in
they were
Walmart.
arrested and jailed.
I said that. Right. Okay. So she went into Walmart. She grabbed some stuff. Looked kind of in a hurry. And on the way out, when she was accosted by the employees to purchase, she tried to give them her credit card and walk off. So technically, she offered to pay and like, I'm divvying out to you. And they were like, no, that's not our policy. So she didn't take anything. That was what the disagreement was about. They called the cops. She was roughed up, and I believe her shoulder was dislocated, like in some sort of jujitsu style maneuver of pain compliant. And she was suffering from dementia, and I believe her family getting a really pretty penny for a lawsuit because of
Yeah.
the egregiousness of the video. Because in the video later on, the cameras in the jail, they were kind of talking about it and some of the stuff that they said and the way that they said it. And if you think about that to your grandmother, like you're going to be pretty. Two people got arrested. Those cops got arrested, and I
Oh
think
yeah, I remember this.
They were convicted too and sentenced to jail and spent time in jail.
Yeah, they stopped her walking down the road like she walked out of Walmart or whatever it was, and they approached her, and she's clearly has dementia. She's clearly very confused, and yeah, it everything about it is
that
just
part
fucked
was
up.
they left her in the jail cell for hours
Yeah.
without any kind of medical attention with a dislocated shoulder.
Oh yeah, they're joking about hearing her shoulder like that. I mean, they
Yeah,
deserve
they watched
every.
the video.
Yeah, it's
Well, the thing
Yeah, well,
about
that's
it,
pretty horrible. I remember this. Yeah,
he tried to
it's pretty
imply
bad.
that they walked away scot-free and that was normal modus operandi for cops. They didn't walk away scot-free. They went to jail. The county was
Yeah.
sued. So
That's
it was a
to make a big thing out of
misleading
it.
story to begin with.
People saw it and it did not pass the fish test. It smelled bad.
Yeah. Well, his
Or
point was, what
fish.
if people didn't see it? Would it, or does it continue when people don't see it?
Well, they
The
got
way you correct those things is you sue and you prosecute, and that's what ended the system work.
It's frustrating with people with dementia. Like if you ever had to, right? And if they're especially if they're borderline, if they're not fully like gone, right? So you think they're making sense, you think you're making a good point with somebody like in a conversation, but then they're messed up in their head, yeah. And then but they're half normal. So it's like you're like, no, you just said this was yeah. They'll go back. It gets to be really frustrating. Yeah.
And close family member, or you experience it for yourself, from people that you're caring for or whatever, you really never appreciate how debilitating, how scary that is. That you're worried that your father's going to wander down the street some night or something.
Well, that's just like
Oh,
on the
he
off
said that it worked.
times and the other. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. That's the system working, right? So the system violating a woman's rights and treating her really rough when she was probably pretty easy to control. He was just in his ego or something. And
that's not what that means at all.
Okay.
That obviously was a failure there, but it was caught and the system worked. They were prosecuted and jailed and sued.
That's why I say I'm not angry over this one as much as I have been other ones, but that's all relative because I've seen a lot of them. So the ones where there's no justice, that's the ones that suck. Nobody gets
absolutely
paid vacation in a body bag.
I don't think anybody will argue with you there, Larry. Yeah, we agree.
So the cop got arrested in this case with the old lady?
2 arrested and jailed. They were sentenced to jail.
Okay. All right, because I remember seeing this about 3 or 4 months ago.
There was a federal lawsuit too.
Yeah.
It will piss you off when you watch that video. If it doesn't piss you off, like I don't know
what's
wrong with
you. I mean, they dislocate shoulder and then they keep her in that for like 6 hours, just sitting there on a concrete bench.
It's torture. And they're joking about hearing a pop of her shoulder come out and shit like that while she's sitting in the jail cell not being attended by medical.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes down to ego. Like us regular human beings, we have to know, and we do know, like just walk away, right? But these police, they don't have that in them. All of them. Just walk away. Like it would be a lot easier if you just walk away, like you would do in any other area of life. Yeah, but they don't.
Look, I know from
can't well themselves too.
Being young as a child, like most people, you can control without having to really rough them up real bad. Like, for example, if you mace somebody, boy, that sure takes the fight out of a sucker real fast. You know what I mean? If you can't breathe, you can't fight. If you can't see, you can't fight.
Sure is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
no, they've done anything.
Dislocating a shoulder.
I'm talking about a grown-ass man who's got a little fight, because I don't think people should fight the cops. I think you should lay down, put your nose on the ground and your hands behind your back, whatever they say, except for all those crazy alcohol tests. In Texas, I don't know about other states, but I would just offer up, hey, I'll blow in the machine but I'm not doing your little hopsy dance.
They need to get qualified.
They lost qualified immunity by name only in Colorado, but we'll see how that turns out.
Qualified immunity doesn't count. Qualified immunity doesn't protect you if you violate somebody's civil rights or commit a crime.
True.
It protects you if the DA doesn't want his homie indicted.
That's a whole nother bag of worms.
Real quick, if anyone has an iPhone, do you know how to get to that quick screen where you can change the airplane mode and phone orientation lock and shit? How do you get to that screen? The reason I can't find it anymore.
It's under settings. Hit the gear.
I know about the gear, Bob, but how do you get to that quick screen though? Where's that quick screen at? That had a microphone setting on it I need to find.
I just go to the gear.
Anybody else has an iPhone? All right, never mind. Anyways, go ahead, guys. Sorry to interrupt.
One that'll piss you off is the Eric Garner.
Swipe down, right? Swipe down from the top.
Cigarettes. Eric Garner was selling
Yeah,
individual cigarettes. He got choked out, right? And that one will piss you off too, because you can put someone
yeah,
in a chokehold. They're out in seconds if you know what you're doing. Literally less than a
yeah.
handful of seconds. And when they're out, you let them go. It's just like macing them. Well, that sure took the zip out of your. Wake up, Yeah, you're not in bed. Get up. It's like they don't want to fight anymore. And it takes a little while for them to get angry again, too. But you can control people, or I can control most people. But there are those who are really feisty, and you might have to use something more than pepper spray. Some of them just don't give a. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
I
or
would
if someone's on
recommend.
drugs or
I would
something.
recommend pepper. That usually makes people separate. It's kind of like smoke on bees, baby.
And when I slide down, it just shows the time and date, and it has a little flashlight thing on the bottom and a camera thing on the bottom. I'm looking for the screen that has like lock orientation, airplane mode. Like there's like all types of shit on the screen. Oh, but
He actually told.
I've
I think it was Brian that told you. All you have to do is slide down from the top.
I slid down from the top, and all that is a screen with the phone, with the date and the time, and it has a camera and a flashlight on the bottom. That's it. It's not that. It's not that screen.
Well, it's what it is
Swipe
on mine.
Restart your phone.
down a second time.
Oh, I found it.
Yes.
Oh, I found it, but now I don't know how I did it. What happened? It went away, and I fucked up. All right, go ahead, guys. My bad. It's here somewhere.
What am I doing? There's that will really piss you off.
Yo, for anyone interested, you have to slide down from the top right corner. That's the only way you can get that screen up. Second thing, there's mic modes. It has mic mode standard and voice isolation. Which one do you? I'm gonna try that. Never mind. I'll just try the other one. See if I can get rid of this delay. Do I sound different?
Same.
Sounds fine.
Yo, if North comes back, somebody unmute. I only wanted to mute him for a second.
We should check the delay and everybody pull up the screen with everything on it. In alphabetical order, we just all go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because I
We're not
wonder
doing that, Brian.
we ain't
We're
got to
not
do it
doing
right
that.
now. We got about 5 people. Because I'm curious what the delay is. Because if you're ready to say your number right after somebody, we'll get an idea of fucking the delays and who's getting them and how much they are for different people. Yes. Ready one. No.
No, shit went smooth on Oakley's today, kinda. Wasn't
Yeah,
bad.
you went.
He said he was like, yo, you can get the angles from Stellarium. He told me I could even get them for in the future. I was like, oh, all right.
After that, I'm out of. What'd you do? You went over. I don't ever see you over there.
He fell in line. He fell in line like a private.
No, I didn't. I didn't yet because some weird shit. But I just wanted to make sure that it was okay, like to get the distances from this and to use like an app to get the angles, like Stellarium or something.
What?
Huh?
The question is
What are you
this
talking about?
where though? That's the question. The distance to where? Like the almanac don't give you
From you
GPs.
to the GP.
Yeah.
From you to the
You got
GP.
figure that out. They don't just tell you the GP on the fucking in the ephemeris. You got to figure that shit out.
You get it by subtracting the angle from 90. Angle from 90 and then multiply that by nautical miles or some shit. There's like a there's a thing you can do with the angle.
It gives you the Greenwich hour angle from fucking Aries. You got to figure everything out from where Aries is basically quite the spot on the celestial equator where they're and they give you the Greenwich hour angle from fucking Aries. You got to figure out. It doesn't just give it to you.
Oh, the almanac gives you the GP.
No,
You have to
it's not.
calculate it, Jeremy.
You have to calculate it using the rotation of the Earth and the time.
Bob, relax.
No. It's a fucking circle. That doesn't say calculate it because it's a sphere. I mean, it's a rotation. But that's the whole argument, Bob.
Whatever. Either way, go ahead, Bob.
Get the GPs. You have to calculate it using the rotation of the Earth and the time, and the reference points from the almanac. You got the Greenwich hour angle. You got the hour angle of Aries, and then you have the hour angle of your celestial body, your navigation star, and you use those out with the time to figure out exactly where the GP of that star is. And you have to be accurate.
Earth. What's up?
And you know how far you are away based on a curve.
It gives you the Greenwich hour angle from fucking according from Aries, basically. So basically, it's a circle. It's a big ass circle.
Nope, doesn't work on a circle, by the way.
That is, it's a constant
circle. You're not listening, Brian.
What do you think the stars are doing in each other? They're circling.
They're moving in coordinates to they're moving in accordance to a sphere because trigonometry doesn't work like that, Brian. Brian, if you have a 1 degree 60-mile relationship, you cannot have that on a flat surface. It doesn't work.
Is it in 300?
Doesn't matter if you get a curved ceiling. Still doesn't work.
It would work as long as the light is not traveling straight in a straight line, right? That'd be okay.
Yeah, if everyone has their personal star.
There we go.
300 degrees, though, right, Zanuck, around Polaris, right?
What's that?
It's based on 360 degrees around Polaris, right?
Not for me, it's not.
Exactly what I just said, bro.
Oh, you mean around Polaris, 360 degrees?
Basically,
everybody around. If everybody could see North Star day and night, it would be 360 degrees around Polaris, and all of them would have on a 40-degree latitude a 40-degree co-altitude angle to Polaris. Yes.
Yeah, but they're all measured in accordance to the celestial equator, basically doing a big circle around Polaris. That I ain't saying that's proven a flat Earth.
No, because you can't have that 40 degrees to Polaris and angle from vertical 40 degrees. That will be what? How many miles would it be to Polaris?
Bro, I mean, can't you?
It'll be. Hold on, it'll be 2,400 miles. So you'd be 2,400 miles from the GP on the North Pole.
That's
that doesn't work on a flat surface. It won't.
The ephemeris doesn't do all that, bro. I'm talking about it's based on the stars in a 60-degree circle, right?
No, it's based on time. It's based on time. It's based on the right ascension and the declination of the star and the Greenwich hour angle to Aries.
Dude, y'all are pathetic.
And your
dude. I'm just talking about the Greenwich hour angle is measured in 360 degrees, right?
No, it's measured in 4 hours.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Hours one way, 12 hours the other.
Don't be pedantic.
Excuse me. No, I'm sorry. You're correct. It's 180 degrees one way, 180 degrees the other.
Thank you.
The hour angle, the right ascension is measured in hours.
Thank you.
Oh boy, you gave the dog a bone.
Yeah. Well, no, he's right.
I know he's right. I said, watch out. You give the boy a dog a bone, and suddenly he's going to go nuts, thinking he's right.
The right ascension is measured in hours. The longitude is measured in degrees.
Okay, the
and
point
right
is,
ascension goes all 2 hours, whereas long only goes 180 degrees each way.
The point is, them guys told me that you could do it by taking the angle to the star. You got the GP, you got the angle to the star. You subtract how many degrees it is from 90. Like say it's at 50 degrees, you subtract that from 90, multiply it times 60 nautical miles, and you got the distance.
Yeah,
Correct.
but you got to figure out where the GP is first, though.
Yes, yeah. As soon as GP is, and you got the angle.
Okay.
Yeah, but
The way to figure out the GP is you need the time, you need the rotation of the Earth, and you need Greenwich hour angle and the angle to the star.
Bro,
Right,
you
but Brian
don't
was
need
talking
the
about
rotation.
And the declination.
Brian was
You
talking
don't
about Polaris, which would be
rotation.
the same for everybody.
Rotation
for
of the
Polaris.
Earth doesn't.
Yes, absolutely.
Rotation does not even come into this. I've never even heard. You're the first person.
Well,
Rotation.
He's
That's
just
because
saying
you've never studied
Bob,
celestial
Bob, you
stars
ain't saying no
rotating in the
or no to
sky,
him.
and that's all he's saying. He's saying, well, you need to
Bob,
know
are you saying
how the
about North
stars
Star,
rotate.
Polaris, or are we talking about Aries?
The relationship of the star to Aries is fixed. The relationship of Greenwich to the hour angle of Aries is variable, and it changes with time. That's why
Right.
you have to have the time.
I know who you were talking. If you're talking about Polaris, because Brian talked about Polaris, and you wouldn't need that for Polaris, correct?
Well, actually, you do, because Polaris is not at the North Celestial; it rotates around it.
Well, it's a very small error compared to all the other errors you can.
45 miles. It's a 45-mile error.
0.7 degrees or something.
Or 5 degrees, or it's about 45.
And that's
it's about 45 minutes.
And that's in the almanac as well. That accuracy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was 45 miles. At worst case.
I mean, shows me you never looked it up, bro. If you didn't even know, like you thought you were going to look into.
I do know. You don't listen to me.
No, Brian. I didn't say it correctly because I don't care about being that accurate. I'm just trying to talk about the major error you're making in your logic,
bro.
and that you
never
could be
even
off by thousands of using something that doesn't metric, following trigonometric laws at all.
If you've never looked in the almanac, why are you?
I have looked at the almanac. I didn't know Polaris is off that much. I know it's off a little bit. I wasn't talking about the error. I could care less about the error. 45 miles. I'm talking about 2,400 miles. You're off by 1,000 miles with your brain dead.
Or you could say
logic.
it like Bob is, so you got to take the Earth's wobble into account.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, dude, no.
Do you? When I talk about my logic and how I explain it to Brian, I'm saying 2,500 miles. I'm off 100 miles.
Yeah, when you're wrong, bro.
It's so far off.
Relax, guys.
It's a flat surface. It's so far off that I don't have. It's just the point of it. You can't use surface
at all
with the North Star. Look at
Guys.
the GP.
You'll never
Go ahead,
concede,
Brian.
dude. Anything at all, no matter what
it doesn't work.
God. And
No, it's
over
not.
some
See,
little.
this is what he does. He's latching onto this bone now. So now he thinks he's right about everything. No,
Yeah,
Brian.
Brian, you don't know anything about celestial navigation. I do, and you don't listen to me.
You think you know about? So I've seen your videos, and you're making assumptions that are not. That's part of your belief, bro. The assumptions you make when you take these.
Bob,
Yeah, and I find my
shame on you,
position
Bob.
within 2.5 miles.
Shame on you, Bob. Use that exactly where you're at on the Earth. Shame on you knowing all these things.
Yo, there
That
was
stupid
actually a.
almanac. How could
actually
you be so
hilarious-
silly
there was-
and just assume things and then be right where you are everywhere you go, looking at the almanac
You don't
and your
know that.
other
Hold on,
measurements?
there was
How can you be right so much?
there was actually a hilarious video QE made about you, Bob, saying that a horizontal has nothing to do with celestial navigation, horizontal, something like that. I'd have to go look it up again. Did you catch that one though?
Relating the horizon with the horizontal. It's not the same word. And then he builds his foundation on his nonsense.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
They
he
had the
thought it
sound
was
bites and
cute that I abbreviated horizontal as HOR. It's the whole, pretty.
You had a horizontal line
The
when you
curved
had
adjacent.
HOR.
Remember the curved adjacent? Remember how long that went on for? Oh, the curved adjacent. Those guys were freaking ridiculous. It was so
Those
funny.
guys don't have the first clue how celestial navigation works. I just kind of laugh at
Zero.
them. Yeah, I just laugh at them a bit. I try to teach them a little bit about it, but they don't want to learn any more than Brian does.
Bob, I'm trying to make this
as
shit
soon
right
as-
on the fucking map. But I know there's a way that they've already done it, and I know that the Swiss ephemeris has a method. They have a transform where they did it. I haven't.
I calculate ephemerises all the time.
Okay, good for you, man. But
and
look,
they are specific to my location.
You trying to act like you're so much smarter than everybody is not a good look, bro. I'm just telling you.
Well, A, I am, and B, no, I'm not really trying to.
Bro, you're drunk, bro. We all know you're a drunk.
Yeah, but I calculate ephemeris all the time to my specific location within about 15 feet. So I don't have a debate about any of that.
You don't know that, bro, because you've never drove.
Sure, I can.
In the South, you've never drove these or went on in a sailboat and been able to measure these long distances, bro. They match your model written down in the ephemeris according to your fucking model, bro.
What is an ephemeris? What does that even mean?
Dude, I'm answering your quizzes, bro. The ephemeris has all celestial bodies. All of them. Like you said, you need the time, you need the fucking, and you need the position of Aries.
Well, you also need the orbital elements of the body too, if you're dealing with asteroids and stuff.
Dude, I'm not dealing with asteroids, okay?
What are you talking about, bro?
Yeah, you just need right ascension and declination.
You take an angle measurement and you move that measurement down to the center of the place you get from. Assumptions, assuming the stars away, because that's part of your model, bro. So you don't use your model to prove your model. To me, that's dishonest, man.
Stars are not millions of miles away; they're literally trillions of miles away.
Literally,
you can't prove them.
Sure, I can.
Prove this is stars. Can't prove any of that shit, bro. It's a I've actually done the parallax on Polaris, so I don't see why you have an issue with that.
Yeah, Brian, you don't understand that when we get 1 arc second of deviation, that's 12 trillion miles.
Who was in here yesterday telling me they don't use parallax to get the distance to Polaris, and Bob just used parallax to get the distance to Polaris?
They don't use parallax for Polaris.
I just got to tell you that.
I can't remember.
Okay,
1 arc second deviation, 12 miles.
Yep.
Bro, then you fraction on. So how many trillions of
fraction? That doesn't work in this discussion now.
As they're heading toward the horizon, dipshit.
We're not looking at the horizon.
Relax, distance of 1 second of parallax on the Earth means?
Bro,
do you know that unit? Ever hear of it?
Don't get refraction. It's overhead. So are you taking any of these measurements directly overhead, Bob?
Astronomical.
Don't tell me that.
It's called a parsec. Parallax arc second.
Do actual people do this? Astronomers and shit do this?
Yes, absolutely.
Parallax to get the distance to Polaris.
Don't confuse them.
Absolutely,
Bob. Don't confuse too. You're gonna use words will get confused.
What
parsec.
letters?
Yeah,
no. May the force be with
the letters now. First it was the numbers. Now it's the letters.
One parallax is a parsec. It's 2.3 light years.
Let's talk about you and Xanix's disagreement in Coriolis now. Bob tells me that there would be Coriolis on the ground.
Hold on.
I can assure you that Xanix and I don't disagree on Coriolis. He knows it just as well as I do.
If you guys don't disagree, here. It's on the right, starts spinning, and he looks at does he see the Coriolis effect?
No.
Yeah, you sounded pretty sure it was an op before, and it wasn't Coriolis effect.
No.
Yeah, we do know. We do.
A roundabout or throwing a ball back and forth, you definitely will.
The thing is, Bob, you're not smarter than everyone because everyone knows that they do see the Coriolis effect.
Well, good for them.
Why do you get gotcha to make your
it's not a gotcha.
Didn't get a gotcha. I just said I don't know. I don't know everything. Yeah. I just know a fuck ton more.
Pretty adamant before. You were pretty adamant before that it wasn't the Coriolis.
Well, maybe I changed.
Well, is it or isn't it? Or you don't know effect?
I don't know for sure whether or not with that.
You don't know the Coriolis effect. It's fine.
Oh, I know it just fine.
Why not?
situation. I can't thought that through at all.
Do about 10. Listen,
You guys think flat? Do you honestly think
Zanuck told
you can tell me
Zanuck tried to
Bob,
tell
I
you
told
5
you Earth
times
wasn't
one night.
flat. I told
Zanuck,
you
did you try
5 times one night?
All right, Jeremy, you be quiet now. I'm trying to talk to Zanuck.
I remember that question, and when I framed it like we talk about it, he agreed. People talk about it this way. Get a jet flying over a merry-go-round, and that reference frame that is rotating, looking at the jet. Does the jet Coriolis do? Yeah, actually, technically it does. Anything with a rotating reference frame
doesn't agree. Doesn't agree.
I agree with him. I agree
so
with
now
him.
you do.
Come on this. I think he's through and came up with a pretty good answer for it.
It's optical, right? So it's cool, right?
Well, in that reference frame, you're looking.
First,
So you're looking at any.
Was that scenario to Bob? When I first
Bob
posed that scenario to Bob, hold on, Zanuck.
Oh boy!
When I first posed to Bob, it's not the. It's just an.
Jeremy, it was literally just peer review in front of you, just now.
I might have been wrong.
Well,
that's why, Jeremy. That's why I break everything down to the basic definition.
Hold on, Zanuck. Or Bob said we're crazy for believing this. Y'all believe that
level.
You believe.
What if I got a feeling of deja vu, Bob?
Yeah, no kidding.
What
right?
about tides?
It's like Groundhog Day.
Tides, since we've gone through that.
You said that we had Coriolis on the ground. Yeah, we'd have to change whatever things traveling north south would have to change one. They would, which to me is a joke. But with the tides, free to move. The water's free to move. Why are the tides circulate way? Circulate according to and nodes everywhere where there's no fucking tide spots like the
they
coast.
Do. They do.
No, they don't.
Does affect the tides.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
they're random. Random, bro. You learned something tonight, Bob. See there?
No.
The tides are random.
Tides are rather complex. There's a lot of things that go into tides. Ocean bottom to inlets, all sorts of things. Phase of the moon has to do with a couple of things. It has to do with the size of the body of the water mass that's constricting it.
So not the moon.
Yeah, the closer you get to the equator, there's areas that have minimal tides.
Yeah.
So not the moon. Thank you.
I never said moon. I said there's a lot of things that go into tides, and I bottom topography, the topography of the land, the phase of the moon.
The wind.
A lot of different things come in. Current, Coriolis, of it comes in.
Did you say the phase of the moon?
You're such a science denier, Brian. Why do you every?
We try to teach. Obviously, haven't looked.
You're not teaching us anything. You are the tangential.
Oh yeah, on flight paths. Yeah.
I talk about
new perspective. That was.
That was great. New perspective. Yeah. That's right.
Is that new perspective?
Yeah. The plane has to turn southeast to get back on course. So eastern component.
Yeah, exactly. South. What's that? And he said it a few times and still didn't click.
20 or 30 times, actually. He was really recalcitrant. He was resistant to knowledge.
You don't fancy words around here.
I haven't heard that word in a while.
Get your fancy.
Get me dictionary out.
But
yeah, you think that's good? Lymphangioliomyomatosis.
Oh boy!
Don't start. You know three long words. It's not impressive.
My pay grade right there.
Brachial, also known as croup.
I got that one though.
Fragilistic.
Yeah, can you spell it?
That one.
IT.
I used to go to school to check Polyconstavich. I'm like, what do you call her?
Okay.
Konstantinovich Polykonstantinovich.
Right. What would it take for you to really concede that the second and other navigational aids are all based on a